What is up, guys? Back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Eugene Regional, and oh boy, people absolutely love this one. Of course, it's in Eugene. The Oregon Ducks are the host, but in second is the Oregon State Beavers, who many thought should have been a host as well. They're coming down, I believe, down an hour to Eugene. Going to be very interesting. And third is Washington State, who is obviously rivals with Oregon State as well. Somewhat rivals with Oregon because they were in the Pac-12 as well. And then fourth is Yale. No connection, but I think it's funny that Yale gets in with a couple other teams. It's such a fun regional, and I can't wait to talk more about it. Now, I'll start here with Oregon. Now, of course, they've had a pretty good year, 40 and 16, 20 and 10 overall in the Big Ten. They've done really well. They've been really streaky with the way that they've gotten some of their wins, especially as of late. They've done a pretty good job. They took a game out of UCLA when they were undefeated in the Big Ten up to that point, which is pretty cool. Beat them on the road as well, which was, really got under my radar. Some of their big series wins, I mentioned that they beat UCLA. It wasn't a series win, but they did take them down for a game. They took down Nebraska in a series, took down Purdue, UCSB, and USC. Obviously, their big ones. That USC one came just last weekend. A bunch of really good series wins just showcases how good of an Oregon team is. Their bad series losses to Michigan, though, which is, Michigan was kind of just outside of the tournament. Definitely not a series loss you want, but if that's the best loss you have all year, can't be too mad about it. Now, one thing I do really want to mention, Oregon did play Oregon State in a one-off game this year. Oregon State got the victory. It's important to note. We'll see if that happens again, though. And I forgot to mention real quick how good some of these Ducks are. They have Angel Laya, Maddox Maloney, and Drew Smith. Some of the best bats, I've been watching all season. They're all three of them are great. They also have Will Samford, who's their ace, done a great job as well. Good roster all around, hitters, pitchers, everything they have is pretty good. Now, the Oregon State Beavers, of course, are in a weird situation. They're not playing in the Pac-12. Of course, it's not a thing until next year. They're 43 and 12, though, playing independence, meaning they haven't played any conference games. 43 wins, though, just 12 losses is pretty good. But unfortunately, I would have expected Oregon State to play a couple tougher teams. Obviously, they beat Oregon in that one-off game. They took down Mercer, pretty big. They took down Cal Poly. Cal Poly is a three seed, I think. Mercer just missed the tournament. Probably should have made it, but whatever. They have a couple good series wins, but for a team that's a two seed, in contention for a one seed, I just find it a bit weird that they don't have any like iconic series wins. I will say though, not losing a series all year is pretty impressive, and it's definitely going to help them out a lot. When you look at their roster, their main guy is Dax Whitney, of course. He's a great pitcher, unbelievable, one of the best in the country, and he's definitely not somebody you want to face this weekend. Now, Washington State is a pretty decent team as well. They're 30 and 26, not playing in the Pac-2 or whatever. They are in a conference that they went 15 and 9 in, I believe. They have a great offense, which is important to note. The only problem, though, as a three seed, you want to be streaky at times. They haven't really done that. They've been pretty, wins, losses. You're not winning 5 games in a row or losing 5 games in a row. And unfortunately, I don't think that they have some of the pop. They don't really have any players that stand out, hitting or pitching, to be honest. But some of their series they've done solid. They split with Cal Poly, who's a fellow three seed as well. They also split with Oregon State, which is important to note because Oregon State, of course, is in the same regional. They have a couple bad losses though: Texas State, San Diego State, Nevada. Just shows, that they've had some decent wins, but they've lost a lot as well. Now, the final team, kind of the outlier in this regional, are the Yale Bulldogs, who finished the year 30, 13, and 1. They're pretty hot right now, 14, 6, and 1 in the Ivy League and the champions of their conference. They're pretty good when it comes to sweeping as well, which is important to note. But when it comes to their series wins, they don't have any iconic ones or really any legit series wins, which is a bit unfortunate. They've lost a couple series to Columbia and Brown, which is, it kind of shows, they definitely can lose to some subpar teams. But they do have Tate Evans behind the mound, who's done a great job for them this year. Now, this regional is so interesting. At first, I really wanted to pick Oregon State. I actually had Oregon State above Oregon in my original regional projections of where they'd be seated. I had Oregon around like Oregon State a little bit higher than Oregon. And this Oregon State team, the fact that they've beaten Oregon as well, I think kind of had them giving me the upper edge over Oregon. But I'm not gonna lie. I think that Oregon's strength of schedule, the Big Ten has actually been pretty decent this year. I think the middle of the conference, outside of that top four of UCLA, USC, and Nebraska, it's actually pretty solid. Taking down Purdue is pretty important. You're playing a team like Michigan, there's teams like Iowa, just pretty solid teams all around. And I think that helps Oregon out a lot. They've also have just three less wins and just four more losses than Oregon State, despite playing a much easier schedule. Oregon, I do think, is the better team. They're not streaky, which I think is good for kind of a regional host or a one seed. And they have some good series wins. I think that what they've done, especially with some of their bats as well, just kind of shows that I really do think this Oregon team is going to end up taking the regional. I do think Oregon State comes in as a very close second, though. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, this is going to be such a fun series. I can't wait for Friday for things to get started. And if you want more regional projections, go on my channel for more.